Hello and welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another journal with me. It's been a little while since I've shared a journal with me video, and today's journal with me is kind of a bit of a catch-up session. So I have this new little Instax album which I'm using to hold my Instax photos until I journal them, and then any that don't make it into my journal will stay in the album until it's eventually full. So this is my current system. I've been using my Instax Mini Link as my current photo printer. I really like the way that the pictures turn out. I like the style, and so I thought this might help me to organize my pictures and just to see what I actually have to scrapbook with. So the pictures that I'm pulling out here are from the summer carnival that comes to our town. I feel like I've journaled about this every single year, so I always just try to mix it up a little bit so that the journaling feels different every time while still running with the whole carnival fair theme. As you can see, I have a lot of pictures, and so the first thing I'm doing is I'm trying to eliminate just a few of those pictures that feel a bit repetitive and just keep those really key or favorite pictures for the spread. After I've eliminated a few photos, I still have a ton to work with, and so now it's time to start figuring out the layout of the spread, and that's always kind of my first step. So especially if you have a lot of pictures that you want to fit into one spread, it's always a good idea to lay them around the page and to give yourself a couple of rough ideas or like a rough plan of how you can fit all of your pictures or special important things into the page. Now, before we continue on with this journal with me, I just want to take a quick moment to thank the sponsor of today's video, Craftsy. Craftsy is a wonderful online community and resource for all things creative. It's where crafters and DIY enthusiasts can find and share creative inspiration, learn new skills, and try new projects. Craftsy currently has over 2,000 classes in more than 20 different popular categories like drawing, painting, quilting, journaling, embroidery, paper crafts, and heaps more. I've recently been really enjoying exploring classes on drawing and illustration whilst I'm working in my own sketchbook. The classes on Craftsy are led by award-winning instructors, and they're really great because the lessons are broken down into smaller steps, which just makes learning new processes and trying new projects really easy and really self-paced. There are so many fun and inspiring projects to explore and try on Craftsy that you'll definitely be able to find something that sparks your interest. The first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the video description will get a full year of premium membership to Craftsy for only $1.49. This offer is valid for all new members of Craftsy. Thank you again so much to Craftsy for sponsoring today's video, and let's jump back into the journal with me. So as I'm fitting my pictures into the layout to try and give myself a rough idea, I'm flicking through the pages to see how much room I have, to see if I need to extend the page or give myself more space, and I'm seeing where things seem to naturally fit on the page as well. So sometimes, depending on the page that you have, especially in a junk journal when you have different types of pages, some things just seem to fit really well, like naturally in a certain space on your page, and I kind of just let myself be led by that a little bit. If something feels like it fits really well or looks really good in a certain spot or in a certain position, then I'll just run with that idea. Because I had so many pictures to include, I was just playing around with that for a little while, and then I decided to pull out some tickets from this little packet of tickets. This was from the washi tape shop, but I don't think they have it anymore. And then I decided to pull out my sketchbook and my paints and to do a little bit of painting. So in my previous journal, I did a lot of painting in my journaling spreads, and I really loved that process. It introduced a lot more practice for me in my painting and my art. It encouraged me to create little decorative illustrated parts to my journal that I didn't really care how they turned out and if they were really good, if I really liked them, but it just encouraged me to get that practice in, and in the end it also added a lot of character to my journal. So I want to try and continue that habit in my new journal, and so I'm pulling out my sketchbook and I'm doing a little painting of these clowns. I know a lot of people don't like clowns, and I feel like these clowns turned out pretty ugly, like their faces. I don't really like the way their faces turned out, but I like the way that I incorporated some florals in their clothing or their little clown costumes. And again, when I'm painting in my journal, when I'm painting just in general recently, I'm just trying to practice. I'm just trying to enjoy the process, and I'm trying not to worry too much about creating a masterpiece. I'm trying not to put pressure on myself to make something that's really amazing. And I'm finding that by doing that and by embracing it, whether it turns out good or bad, I'm encouraging myself so much more to paint, and I'm enjoying the process so much more. So whilst these clowns turned out okay, I don't love them, but I love the process and I enjoyed the process. So they're going to go into my journal either way. Once I was semi-happy with the finished clowns, I went and cut them out with my scissors. I cut around the entire shape so that they have kind of an unusual shape to this piece. And then I'm going to stick it into my journal, and it's going to become a pocket on the page so that I can actually slip something behind it. And I'm just trying to figure out the best place to place this in my journal. And I decided that on top of that floral paper looked quite pretty. And so I'm going to attach that in a way that it becomes a little pocket. So I'm going to stick down the top and the bottom clown, and the middle clown is going to be open so that I can actually slip something inside. On the page beside it, you can see where my photos fit quite well in that little section on the page. So this is like a children's book page in my journal, and the photos fit really well on that little section. So I'm just attaching them with some gold photo corners, which I purchased on eBay a while ago. I like the way that little pop of gold looks on the page. It kind of makes it feel a little bit more special. And so the 4 pictures on the spread fit really, really well in that little panel. I also like that the strip of illustration from the children's book underneath that had some horses, because it kind of reminded me of like a carousel at the fair, and I felt like that looked really nice on this page too. Then attaching those clowns, as I said, with my glue stick, I attached the clowns on the outside down on the page, and I left that blue clown on the middle open so that I can stick something inside. And then on the back, where you can see the back side of that clown painting, just like the plain white paper, I just added a strip of washi tape. This also helps to secure the pocket into the journal. Use a little scrap of vintage paper as the piece that I tucked inside, and I'm going to journal on that later on. Then flipping over the page, I'm going ahead and I'm kind of repeating the same idea where I'm trying to fit my Polaroid pictures on the panel or on the page in a way that where they kind of fit. So like on that little section, this children's book paper in my actual journal has these really lovely illustrations that are sectioned on the page, and it just creates some really interesting spaces on the paper. And so I'm trying to fill that in a way that works best. So the pictures fit really nicely again on this page, with 2 up the top and 2 down the bottom. And then I had a bit of an awkward space in the middle, which I wanted to fill with some journaling. And so I decided to stick this little orange coin pocket down first in the middle, and then I can slip another piece of paper inside, which I can journal on top of. And so to make that fit perfectly, I just overlapped those Polaroid pictures straight on top of the coin envelope, so everything fits really well. Again, you can see a little section of the illustrated paper, or the illustrations from this children's book paper that I'm working on down the side there, which I just left the way that it was so that you could still see some of that artwork. And I wanted to carry on the same theme and use those gold corners. And so that's, again, is how I'm attaching my photos down. So usually with my Instax pictures, I'll use double-sided tape or a stapler or both. But I'm finding that these little sticky picture corners work well on their own as well. Hopefully they stay sticky for a really long time. So now the spread's pretty complete with all of the bits and pieces that I wanted to add from my real life, so the photos. I also have a little coin or a little token left over from the carnival. Again, I do this every year. I always have one left over, and I always put it into my journal. And this time I stuck it inside this little clear pocket, and then I stapled it onto the journal card or the little piece of paper. And so you can flip over the little journaling card and it will have that little token on the back. Here you can see I've added my written journaling, and I didn't need to do a lot. I didn't have a ton of stuff to write about, so I just journaled on the journal card, and then I also journaled inside the coin envelope. And then to finish off the page, I pulled out my little container full of stickers, and I just started decorating the page. And this is usually one of my final steps whenever I'm creating a journal page or a scrapbook page, because it just ties everything together. You can decorate any little blank spaces or like boring little areas on the page with the stickers. It's also a great way to add little bits of text, like with the tiny word stickers, or any other like little label stickers or quote pieces. On the coin envelope, I stuck down this little sticker, and then I found these really old stickers in my box which had a bit of like a carnival theme to it. I hadn't used these stickers for a really long time, and I felt like they looked really cute on top of the coin envelope, but because I had already stuck a sticker down, it was hard to make them fit. So I decided to actually pull and peel that little sticker off that I initially stuck down, and I just took it off. I stuck it back down onto a blank piece of sticker paper, and then I just decided to run with these stickers instead. And I feel like that looks a whole lot better, and it filled that space really nicely. Once they were stuck down, I just put a few little pieces of clear sticky tape over the top. That was just to reinforce the stickers, especially because they're a bit older. They're not quite as sticky, and I kind of like the texture and the look of clear sticky tape as well. I added a little paper clip on the envelope. I stapled one of those little ticket pieces that I pulled out earlier, and that is the finished spread. I just got everything down. I enjoyed some painting process. I got the memories down. I didn't journal too much, but I like it. I like how it turned out. And it's always a little bit strange when you're starting in a new journal. It can be hard to find like your footing a little bit, especially when you're journaling in junk journals, when the pages are always different and each journal is so different to the last. Sometimes it can find a while to kind of find your process that works best for you and for that journal. And I feel like that's where I'm at the moment. I'm just breaking the journal in. Another huge thanks to Craftsy for sponsoring today's video. Make sure you check out the link if you want to take advantage of their discount. And I will see you again very soon in my next video.